Rolling Willets, Old Men Stories on Lake Lizzie with Karol Holten and her family.
Rolling Willets, Old Men Stories, and we're at Lake Lizzie, and we're talking with Karol and Paul. John Holten. You know, I know it's John, but I say Paul. I don't. It's something I have. I do that.
Well, we have a Paul too.
I know Paul. I interviewed Paul.
Yeah.
And I know his name. Part of my age group. Tell me this about your kids. When you called to them, did you remember their name or did you go through all of them?
Boy, I think I probably used both their first name and their middle name.
Oh, okay. You were pretty specific though. You weren't like my mom that went through all the kids.
Yeah, well, I see. You know, we call one. Could have been that way too sometimes, I'm sure.
Good. And you two, what?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay.
Betcha.
You betcha. Now, if you want, when you hear "you betcha," people, do you know where that's from?
You betcha.
That's from Minnesota,
Yep.
North Dakota.
Yeah, sure.
And how many children do you have?
I have five. 3 sons, 2 daughters.
What?
3 sons.
What?
A son, a daughter, a son, a son, a daughter.
Wow. Wow. That is just wonderful.
And she has how many grandchildren now?
12 grandchildren. And they all come out here. I think there are 10 here today. Or were last night. Now, some of them come and go, but there have been 10 out this weekend. 2 of them are working.
Whoa.
Every 4th of July we get the 2 who live out in the Denver area. Their families come as well, so it's a family reunion every year.
Very fun.
Everyone dispersed in your family, right?
No, Eric is in Fargo with his family. Eric's in Fargo. I'm across the river in Moorhead. And there are 2 sons and their families in Minneapolis. And the 2 daughters are in Denver.
Oh, wow. And raising the kids, did you have a favorite?
No.
She wouldn't say that on camera, would she?
No.
Although the favorite of us kids was the youngest Annie. We babied her, as you would imagine. But yeah, she was babied, and we fought over her. And,
wow. How many years?
She came a lot later.
A lot later.
And they've kind of thought of her as sort of a toy at the beginning.
Yeah.
So she was the one that everyone...
And we would tease. And they still kind of do. They still think that she's not real serious yet.
So she gets spoiled.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think she's spoiled.
Oh no,
But,
she's not.
no, she's
but
not
but
spoiled.
back in the day, you know, she had all of our attention.
And Karol, do you get spoiled now?
Do I get spoiled? Do I ever? I don't do any work. My daughters-in-law and daughters do all the cooking. I have a daughter-in-law now that owns this property, and she does all the cleaning. And I have a place in Arizona, and I get a lot of help there. And then on my little condo in Moorhead, where I'll eventually stay.
Cool.
And as you can imagine, we all try to take our stint at going down to Arizona. Funny though, it's always January, February, and March when we're going to Arizona.
Usually
Imagine
March
that.
when there's school vacation.
Yeah. Yep. My kids are no longer in school, so we go whenever, and we usually go January and February, and we just don't have an interest in going there in August. Can't imagine.
No, I leave there in April, May. Don't go back till the end of October or 1st of November. I go back to Arizona to my house. I have a house there. Actually, I'm an Arizona resident.
You gotta go home. Oh. So I know you live in Scottsdale.
No, I don't.
You don't. All right, I was wrong.
Northwest
Excuse me.
I live
Sun
in
City.
Sun City. Yeah, I
Well,
get.
I don't live in Sun City either. I live in Surprise in Sun City Grand. There is
Oh.
Sun City West, as they expanded and filled up Sun City. And then they moved to they opened up Sun City West. That filled up, so then they opened up Sun City Grand, which is now also, but that is in the city of Surprise, which does have schools. So we pay school taxes in Surprise.
Yep.
Yeah, Sun City really got expanded. It started back
Yeah,
60s when I was there.
It expanded into Sun City West and Sun City Grand, totally new sections.
Wow.
Del Webb.
Yep, Del Webb. Is he alive still? I don't think.
No. In fact, he didn't live long enough to see Surprise. That was taken over by the company. No,
Yeah.
he died he was in his 70s, pretty young for today's longevity.
Well, I've noticed that your kids and your grandkids are all awfully successful at the pursuits they go after.
Well, they all have college education, and they're expected to do what they can. And they saw their dad achieve her work. Actually, it's hard work. It's the willing to work that's important. It isn't any brain power as such. It's more hard work. Willing to work at it in college.
And Ma was a great participant in giving them a work ethic, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, they saw their dad work, 7 days a week, on call 24 hours a day, his first 10 years of his practice of medicine in Moorhead. And they saw what he did, and I think they thought that's the way it is. That's the way they should do. They're expected to work.
Yep. Well, Ma just encouraged it then, right?
Yeah, I did the house mart, and we did a lot of traveling together, and we take our children along a lot, as long as they didn't interfere with their schooling. So, we introduced them to a lot of people and a lot of places that we would travel to. We did a lot of camping at the beginning. We'd rent a camper, and we'd pack up 7 of us in a camper. Really close. And pull it behind a car probably, or else rent a whole camper and go from park to park. And we'd go distances all the way out west. And that was really fun, but hard work. It's a lot of work to do camping if you haul everything with you.
Especially when there's as many kids as you're with.
Well,
We would do those pop-up campers, that have the wings that spread out, and not room for everybody all the time, so somebody would be sleeping on a table and whatever.
sleeping bags. We did a lot of that.
And they were all raised in Fargo.
Moorhead.
Oh, they were all raised in Moorhead.
All went to Moorhead High School. And John went to University of Minnesota Duluth. And Karen went to the University of Minnesota Minneapolis. And the 2 youngest ones each went to Concordia for 4 years, which is a Lutheran college right in Moorhead. And Paul went 4 years to St. Olaf. He was on his own, not on his own, but he decided to do something different. He went to St. Olaf for 4 years. He's the middle son.
So he went all the way south of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So you have one of those families where you can sort of put it up as a model for success. I like that.
Well, when you say success, it's only success if you work at it.
Agreed. And that's what I'm saying. I might say, here's a working family.
Sure.
Okay, this is where work can take you. I like that better.
They saw their parents work, and that was a way of life, really.
Right.
And a nuclear family, where you have both mom and dad and the kids, and that's becoming more and more rare nowadays. So.
Well, that is just so spectacular. And let's find out a little more. Give me one problem that you remember that John had.
Well, with John, the eldest, I remember we expected him to be at home at 11 at night, and he didn't show up at 11 at night, and I just imagined he was dead, or he had every kind of an accident. Finally, here he came. I said, "Where have you been?" He said, "We were over at this girl's house, and boy, she really put a lot of butter on her popcorn." And I believed him. I think he was honest.
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
He was impressed.
Impressed with butter on the popcorn.
I probably didn't put
still
much
love it,
butter
so maybe
because
it's
I didn't
true.
want buttery hands in the house, but she didn't mind that, and I believed it.
Well, that says he told the truth a lot of times.
No
Otherwise-
comment.
Huh?
No, that's true.
Yeah,
Well-
I think it was. I think he was honest. You know, as far as problems, we expected them to behave. We expected the best that they could do. I suppose there were times that they didn't ever do. If we'd known it, we would never proved. But they all survived.
And now all their kids are coming up
Kids
in
are all
like
doing
manner,
well.
aren't they?
Yep.
Yes.
Kids are all doing well too.
12 grandchildren. The two youngest ones are in Denver. Our youngest daughter has just an 8 and a 9-year-old. They're the youngest. But the eldest are in their middle 20s.
Wow. That is surprising. Because you actually can put a little money in your pocket now instead of in school.
Absolutely. Done with college now, but they were in college, and that's done. So now they're in the workaday world.
That's so wonderful.
Yep. So it continues on as a legacy.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Old Men Stories, one more day. On the wonderful 4th of July long weekend.